Welcome to AETCM, the Emergency Medicine channel. So today we are going to discuss the topic regarding roles and responsibilities of EMT. It's the most and then fundamental thing we have to learn for, then only we can carry forward, otherwise we have to build up our career in that thing. So let me discuss. So before getting into the topic, we'll go on through some scenarios, then we'll get some ideas at the final end. So I'm reading that scenario at 16:18 hours. You are dispatched to the 300 block of Hunt Road for a report of a collision between the car and motorcycle. You notify a dispatch that you are en route. 3 minutes later, as you are nearing the crash scene, you noticed a car parked diagonally across the road and then motorcycle lying on its. It's about the 20 fare up from the car. You note and also you note fluid leaking from underneath the car, and it's appear no one inside the car. A crowd of bystanders is gathered at a driveway, and also you noticed someone lying supine on the ground. In this time, you are the first attender. No other public safety agencies have arrived on scene. So here, lot of stuff is there, but I try to simplify that. What's the thing is, there is a collision between the motor vehicle and car. The first thing. Second thing, you reach the situation, but here no public agency or received arrived at the scene. The third important thing is there is a car placed diagonally across the road. The fourth important thing, you have noticed that fluid leaking underneath the car, and then crowd is there. So it's a somewhat difficult situation. Here the question is arising, what's the roles and responsibilities of EMT? Either I want to take care of the traffic, either I want to take care of the fire hazard, because the fluid is leaking underneath, so there may be a fire hazard. Here the car is placed diagonally across the road, sir, there may be a traffic issue. So the question is arising again, either I want to take care of the crowd, or either I want to take care of that traffic, otherwise either I want to take care of that fire related hazards. So otherwise I want to go and then simply get into the scenario and then load and go situation. So at the end of presentation, we hope you will get some ideas regarding that. So these are the roles and responsibilities of EMTs. So it starts from it's about the 8 categories. It starts from the preparation, response, scene management, patient assessment, management and disposition, patient transfer and report, documentation, and then return to service. It's about 8 categories. Simply we can segregate based on 3 things. How we can means, first thing is a before call, pre-call. Before you are getting a call, you just first step preparation. Before getting a call, otherwise pre-call, you just preparing yourself. Second thing, while call, otherwise during call. Once after you are getting call, you are doing 6 major things. What are the things? You have to respond the call, scene management, patient assessment, management and disposition, patient transfer and report, and then documentation. And then final, post call. Otherwise your call gets over means you have to return to your service. So it's about 3 things. First thing, pre-call. Before you are getting a call, you have to prepare something, and then while call, otherwise you are getting call means you have to do response, scene management, patient assessment, management disposition, patient transfer and report, documentation. Final, once your call gets over means you can return to your service. So 3 major things. Let's we enumerate each category. So the first thing is a preparation part. So what it's about the pre-call. Before you are getting the call, you have to prepare something. What are the things? Physical, mental, and emotional. Both are, it's like a triad like a thing. You have to prepare your physical, you have to prepare your mental, as well as most importantly emotional also. These are the things we are going to discuss more detail in upcoming videos. So please keep in touch with us. And then second part is knowledge and skill abilities. You have to update your knowledge up to the date. So what are the treatment modalities came for, and then what are the future, otherwise what are the things are advanced medical care, and then what are the advanced things you may want to update means those are the things you have to up to date with your clean knowledge and then skill abilities. Then third most important thing is an equipment that should be appropriate and in working condition. Let me say one example. If you are going to receiving a cardiac related case, you got a call like a cardiac arrest, otherwise something related cardiac, means you have to prepare the ECG, you have to check for that ECG machine, and then you have to check for the defibrillator, cardiac monitoring. Those are the things, the call specific appropriate thing you should prepare. Second thing, that it's a working condition. Again, it's the most important thing. If you are facing on cardiac arrest case, means on the time you prepared, you did CPR, and the monitor is showing like a shockable rhythm. So you are a skilled person, you have some valued or highly costly, otherwise branded equipment, defibrillator with you. It's showing like a shockable rhythm. You took a paddles and then you charge it off and then you deliver a shock. It's not, if it is not delivering a shock, if the malfunctioning of the equipment, otherwise if the equipment is not properly working, means totally waste. You are a skilled person, yeah, it's right, and then you have a highly costliest equipment, yeah, it's okay, but the working condition of the equipment, that's the most important thing. So what we can do means every shift wise, otherwise every day we can check for that working condition of the equipment, and then we have to calibrate the equipment. That's the most important thing. So three things in preparation: physical, mental, emotion, and then you have to keep it up to date, your knowledge and skill abilities. And then third one is equipment that's appropriate, and then working condition. It's about the pre-call. And then while if you receive the call, means once you get a call, means your preparation part gets over. So if it's a time to act, so first thing is a response. It should be in timely, and then it should be in safe manner. So timely means, if you are getting a call, means once you are getting call, you should act, you should rush to the scene. So in our emergency we have a time frame like platinum 10 minutes and then golden hours. Those are the things. So every second counts. So you have to act very fastly, and then you have to rush through the scene. We have to go for the next management. Then second most important thing is safety is the most important concern. Yes, we know you are the hero of the emergency medicine, you are the king of the pre-hospital setup, you alone, you are the only one who is going to save the person. But think like in our scenario also, you roughly got the car is diagonally placed on the middle of the road. So it may be an rural road, otherwise it may be an highway also. So think if it is in highway, so you reach the scene and then you placed your ambulance, you get out ambulance, and then you are running in that hot highway. What will happen? You are running in the highway. So that's the most dangerous one. And what will happen? You may be the victim, you have to wait for the another 108, otherwise 900. That should not be. So you have to timely act. Most importantly, with the safety of the action is most important thing. Timely and safely. Third important thing is scene management. So in this also, first priority is safety of you and your team. The most important, next important thing is patient and bystander safety also important concern. Personal protective equipments, it's a whichever emergency we have to do for the personal protective equipments. In scene management, while receiving a call itself, you may get some clues. In our scenario also, you can see there is a collision between the car and motorcycle. That car is placed in that middle of the road. So you may get some ideas regarding that there may be a traffic issue. And then once you get into the scene, you may see fluid leaking into the under the car. So there also you are getting some clues. So before receiving, you may imagine something, and then once after and entering into the scene also, you may get something, clues. Based on the clues, you have to act for, if you want further forces, otherwise if you want fire forces help, police means you can call for their help also. Then most important thing, personal protective equipment, it's a most based on the situation. If you are going to encounter the carbon monoxide poisoning, those are the things, means you have to use appropriate personal protective equipment. Then fourth category is patient assessment and care. The assessment should be appropriate and organized assessment, and then recognize and prioritize the patient need on the basis of injuries or illness. What's the point I want to stress here is, if you are going to encounter a mass casualty situation, There we have some field triage like a thing, otherwise we have a salt triage. That's appropriate organized assessment. So that's the thing you can do. Otherwise, if you're going with a single person, you're encountering the single person that may have he or she have involved in some trauma like a thing, means there you can perform some organized assessment. Like in our emergency we have a rapid full body scan. Those are the things, we have a set of organized things. So you have to go through that, and then you have to done first that thing, and then you can go for the appropriate management regarding that person's need, injuries or illness. It's about the patient assessment and care. Assessment should be appropriate and organized, and then recognize and prioritize the patient need on the basis of injury or illness. Then we'll get back our scenario. So once after you are arriving and then you are assessing your initial assessment, everything done, you got a report like this. As you acquire a general impression of the patient, you observe he is a young man and appears to be unresponsive to all stimuli. Unresponsive to all stimuli, you well know, once you get into the scene, you did our scene safety, all the measures. After that you have to check the mental status. In mental status we have a scale like a thing, AVPU, awake and alert, and then voice response, and then AVP for pain response, U for unresponsiveness. So the person comes under the category of unresponsive to all stimuli. So he's not responding to voice also, he's not responding to pain also. The next thing, an initial assessment reveals that airway is patterned, nice. Then rapid and shallow breathing which appears an asymmetrical pattern, first thing. Diminished breath sound on the left side, second thing. Weak radial pulse, third thing. Distended neck vein, fourth thing. Your partner start inserted oral airway and begin the ventilation with the bag valve mask with 100% oxygen, and also he tells it's difficult to ventilate. So it's about our recordings. Respiratory rate about 12 breaths per minute, pulse about 138 beats per minute, BP about 9654 millimeters in mercury, SpO2 about 92% with BVM ventilation 100% oxygen, skin about pale and cool and diaphoretic. So by this scenario, you may get some clues. As a critical thinker, as a packed EMT, you find that's a tension pneumothorax things. Why? Because we can tell first thing, distended neck vein, first in triad, the first criteria. Second thing, BP is in lower state, 96 to 54 mmHg, second stage. Third state, it's a asymmetrical breathing pattern, diminished breath sound. So these are the, by this category you can understand this about the tension pneumothorax. So the question arising here is, even though you don't have a standing order to perform a needle decompression, because tension pneumothorax, needle decompression is the only way of treatment, then only the person get improve, otherwise the person may get whichever things you can do, the person may get worsen only. So needle decompression, you know, this is what the person's need, patient need. How will you handle getting approval to perform this procedure? So keep in mind, I will tell the reason behind it. So the fifth part is management and disposition. Follow medical guidelines or protocol or online medical control physician. Here what the thing means, so if you are encountering some anaphylaxis, there we have some universal guidelines like anaphylaxis, how we have to manage, some set of protocols we have in anaphylaxis. Mean the same times, if you are encountering cardiac arrest also, we have like ACLS, BLS protocol. Though those are the universal protocol we have in our hand, so you can follow those other things. Otherwise, some other things, some other medical guidelines or protocols you may have from your agency or from your healthcare professional hospital, from your healthcare facility hospital, those are, they have some set of protocols. So based on that you can go for. But some other exceptional case you may encounter, like our previous scenario we seen, it's like a tension pneumothorax. There you have to call and contact your online medical control physician. There you have to tell to the physician, sir, this is about the situation, the person in tension pneumothorax, here the online medical control physician in somewhere else location, you are in the scene, so you have to you have to tell more appropriate manner, more understandable manner, and then clearly you have to tell. So this is the condition of the person. If we want, definitely we have to do the needle decompression, otherwise the person may get worsened. So you are the hand, and then you are the feeling, you are the eyes, you are the ears, whichever things for the online medical control physician. He won't, by your way of expression or by your way of explanation only, he can give that order, otherwise he won't. So it should be a cool and calm approach. You have to tell elaborately, and then you have to appropriately, you have to explain the condition to the online medical control physician. Then transfer to the appropriate facility. That's the other most important thing. If the person main involved in trauma means, you have to shift to the trauma center. Otherwise burns means, where the burns unit is there nearby you, there you have to shift. If it is like a carbon monoxide poisoning means, you have to selectively known as where the hyperbaric oxygen therapy is there, there you have to shift for the person. It's about the management and disposition. Then the next compartment is a patient transfer and report. As like we told, we have to shift the person to the appropriate facility. There you have to act as a patient's advocate. That's the most important thing. Still the person is belong to you only. Still the person is under your custody only. So you have to act the receiving facility as an advocate. Why they were mentioning like advocate means, so if the receiving facility may some busy like a state, they were have a lot of works in their some, on the time you have to explain that, you should not get anger, you should explain the needful of the treatment, you should explain that what's the actual condition of the person, and then what's the immediate treatment we can give from their side. The most important thing, the needful for the person, you can explain to the facility, and then you can arrange for that appropriate treatment approach. And then second thing is, give brief and concise handoff report. That's the most important thing. You have to give that what are the things you did on the scene, or the care in transit, and then what's the thing you did in your transport, and then what's the things you have to do for, then you can give some suggestion also. Then concise hand report. Here I can give some example. If the person while transport, if the person encounters hypotension, so you given two fluid bolus of crystalloid fluid bolus you given. So you forget, and then while handover you forget about that fluid bolus, you just given over remaining all things you told, and then you came back. So once after some time, if the person again now the person in hospital, again if the person gets an hypotension means, what's the initial treatment? They will give fluid bolus. So you didn't told about the fluid bolus you given in pre-hospital situation. So in hospital also they are facing hypotension. They are giving a fluid bolus. Again fluid bolus. What will happen in the person's body means, fluid overload will happen, edema will happen, then dilutional coagulopathy. The complication will major. So complication will arise. So you missed. You may thought like it's a simple minimal portion. That minimal thing will cause a major complication. So we have to more conscious in about that. That's why give brief and concise handoff report. It's about the patient transfer and then report. The final part is a documentation. Patient care report. You may follow different report format. It's one of the exemplary part how the patient record should be in. First one, it start from date, incident number, nature of call, location, and then dispatched at what time, en route or at scene when you reach the scene, transport at hospital, and then in service when you return back to the service. And then patient information regarding the age, sex, and then weight, allergies, medication, past medical history, chief medical complaints. And then vital signs regarding the timely event you have to record for that. And then what are the treatment provided by you. Either here in this case we started oxygenation with a bag wall mask. So they were encircled bag wall mask, and then we did assisted ventilation, airway adjunct. Like in first case itself, we shown he inserted oral airway. So we mentioned oral airway. If you insert a nasal airway means there you can write a nasal airway. If you initiated CPR means then you can encircle CPR. Defibrillation, nothing we did here, so nothing we encircle here. And then bleeding control, bandaging, splinting, and then others cardiac monitor. If you are did splinting or some other things you did means there also you can add for. And finally, you have to write a narrative. What's the call you received, and then what time you reached, and then what are the things you did in scene. While transit, what are the things you given for the treatment. Those are the things you have to mention in the narrative part. And then final part is an post call. Once after your call gets over means what are the things you have to do. Return to service, it's about the restock and prepare the unit for next call as quickly as possible. That's the most important thing. We don't know when you will get a next call. That may be in 5 minutes, otherwise that may be in half an hour, otherwise by your luck you may not. So whichever time, anyway, we have to restock and then prepare the unit for next call as quickly as possible. If you are forget, otherwise if you are neglect to return those used things means that will make us some legal issues. So making concern as quickly as early as possible, we have to restock and then prepare the unit for the next call. So it's about the whole thing. So we can categorize and simply in 3 things: pre-call, during call, and then post-call. So do your best. Shalom.